I think it's called the Kali Yuga, but essentially it is. I think it's actually the phase of destruction. So there's like was like an age that maybe like 5,000 millennium or whatever it is, right? Where it's like from the beginning of time is like, the universe is expanding and creation, and then there's a period of destruction, and there's a reformation period, and then on the other end of where we are now is supposed to be the golden age, right? Is that's the next good thing, right?
Yeah.
But you got to get through the dark times to get to the good times. So that's when each god takes on his different powers. And okay, so Kali is the destroyer, is like bringing the end to a conclusion. But as you know, people will talk about. You hear this. It's like well, it's like every end is a new beginning, right? So well, yeah, this is the beginning of the end, and it's whatever the end of the beginning. It's like so one end starts the next phase. So, but it's hard to know exactly where you are in which phase. So you go, well, is the end of the destruction of the world, like whatever's been going on with the woke bullshit and all this other stuff, is Trump's assassination the beginning of the new phase, or are we still in the destruction phase and it's just going to get crazier and crazier and crazier till all hell breaks loose, total chaos, pandemonium, and then the reboot starts, or are we already in the reboot, right? That's the thing, we don't know. Um, if Trump brings about peace in the Middle East and peace in Israel and Palestine, and solves the Ukraine Russia war, and this becomes this new rebirth. But you can only know these things in hindsight. When you look back, you go, "Oh yeah, that was the start of the era of peace," or nope, that was just the tipping point for the whole fucking thing going down, and then Armageddon, the whatever, the four horsemen, and all the rest. So, but it's very interesting. Like they talk about that cycle of birth and rebirth and creation from is just like a thing that plays out over all eternity. Um, so it's very interesting stuff if you get into it. It's kind of like, but it connects into your theory of like multiple different gods, but coming at different stages and with different qualities, and that people can pray to multiple gods. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's physically separate entities, or just like the one casts itself into many different bodies, so does that creative force cast itself into many different incarnations. But I don't know. What do you think about that? I mean, are you thinking in your theory that that's kind of like, how would you interpret it for your theory?
Well, I mean, I don't know how much of my story sounded like a miracle to you, but
Well, I mean,
I don't know if you can prove anything about any god or gods without seeing evidence of it. But the thing is, we have evidence of these wavelengths. We have evidence that everything kind of works in these categories that we put them in. We see people, they give off the same energies, and we recognize them in as different people, even experiencing the same energy. And we see it in nature that these ants know how to follow each other through scent, even though their scent organs aren't anywhere near as strong as our nose, right? they able to use all of the communication, and spiders just know how to do all this stuff, and like the wavelength is already there. We have evidence of it. We just been so blindsided, and maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe I was supposed to recognize this a long time ago. But I just feel like I haven't, and nobody else around me has, and it's so obvious. Everything seems to work in this way.
well,
To take it to the next step to gods is like, well, really, for me, I think that the evidence lies in the manipulation of that energy. Because if evil exists, does it have to exist? Or is there something manipulating the energy to make you feel that that wavelength. You know, when your child gets cancer, that creation of pain and suffering that the family feels, is that like an entity that's affecting us, or is it just a random event that happened and caused, you know, suffering in this world that we live in, where there has to be suffering? And I don't feel like there's enough evidence to show that, I don't know, that God interferes with our lives. I just don't feel like there's
Yeah.
enough, you know. We can sense that there's something there, I feel like.
Yeah. See, the tricky part about this, right, is because like I hear your story, and the thing about it is, it's like it's so personal, right? That you could picture. I mean, if you wrote a book about your experience, let's say you do, and then somebody reads it. I'm not saying it's like the Bible, but what I mean is like the person would be like, "Hey, to me, what happened was like a miracle. I can't believe this is, you know." And so it becomes a personal thing. And then somebody else looks at it later and goes, "Oh no, that wasn't a miracle. That was just blah blah blah. That was just coincidence. Blah 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 blah." And then they get their whatever their 2 cents. And you go, "Well," and then it just becomes like, "Hey, how did that happen?" And they go, you know, we just are people just argue over miracles, right? It's like, "Oh no, it can't be. This could be, or that could be." And you know, you can picture yourself like what we're doing with the Bible. You know, we just put it in that term. You're looking back, hey, somebody told this story about this one guy, and he had a thing of bread, and it fed a bunch of people, and it was really amazing, man. Like all these people ate out of this thing of bread, and I don't know how that happened. Yeah, oh, must be a miracle. It's like, well, it could have been that you just didn't see where all the bread was coming from, but there was more bread, right? It could have been all kinds of things.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the time, it was a miracle. And you go, hmm. So the thing is, how do you know it was a miracle? Like you just have to say, well, when you think about it, do you think something special happened or not? And then, because the thing about it is like man has this probably innate nature. I think one of the guys on this dating show was talking about how the chimpanzees, you know, he's talking about all this, like he was talking about the ants, right? And all that stuff. How do they know to do that? It's like it's just born in them. It's their instinct. They've been born with it. The warrior thing. The warrior ant knows to defend the colony, to defend the queen. Like he wasn't taught how to do it. He didn't take any classes
Right.
on how to do it. He just knows how to do it. And they said that we are we apply this knowledge to the whole animal kingdom, but we don't apply it to ourselves. And that is the great fallacy, because it says we are born with the knowledge, but we suppress it. Now, what is the knowledge that we're supposed to be born with? We're born with the knowledge of our true nature, right? This divine nature, this oneness, the thing. But we resist. We're like the only creature that resists our own instincts. We know the truth, but we fight against it. We don't want to accept, the whole thing, the oneness. And so we fight it our whole life. And so the question for us is like, we have to basically like return to our instinct of the one that we've been fighting against for years.
I don't
said,
I don't
this whole thing.
believe that we're one. The story of the egg. Have you seen the egg video? I think you did watch it, right?
Yeah, you said it to me, and I watched it. Yeah, it was good.
The theory about the egg for me is like, does it matter if we're all joined? Like at the end, after we experience our individuality, does it matter if we're all one? It's like, sure, okay, yeah, we're all one, and we shouldn't be hurting each other. But even if we weren't all one, like we should live by the same rules. I mean, it doesn't really change anything,
You just posted a new thing on YouTube?
I'm actually live right now.
Live?
Yeah. I'm drawing silliness.
We're all one. Jeez. Yeah, the thing just popped up on my YouTube.
I'm drawn, and I mean, I'm sure nobody's ever going to watch this, so it's not like it matters. But
We'll have millions of dollars. So it's an interesting discussion of what was I saying?
mostly we're just talking about that. Does it matter? Does it matter if you have one entity that you go back into when you die? I mean, we're all here clearly experiencing an individual experience, and even the story of the egg, like, kind of says that it's like you just after you die, you come back and you're one thing, and once you've experienced everything, then you become a god. That's the egg video. It's funny because I went and watched it with my grandpa, or Sarah's dad, and we I didn't realize it was so long. I don't remember it being so damn long. I was like, man, I just wanted to get to the point where it explains the moral. You know, I didn't. We were having a conversation. I didn't really remember this damn thing taking so long to get.
Yeah, I think it might have been a 45-minute conversation or something. It was long. It was really long.
Yeah, it's like a 15-minute video, but you know, it's like 15 minutes seems like so much longer when you're having a conversation, and then all of a sudden you were like, hey, I want you to watch this video. I want you to get this concept. And then it's like, besides the concept, you have to watch this guy talk to himself for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's yeah. I mean, I guess anyway. So it's kind of like, I guess if you come to your theory of it seems like the evil thing should be a little bit simpler to understand, but I guess it really comes down to the motivation. See, the problem with the motivation thing is it does involve mind reading. It does involve you being able to read what's in the heart of somebody else when they do something. You go, oh, did you do that bad thing to me just because you were careless, or did you do it with the intention to hurt me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could be the exact same action. You don't know. One is evil and one's not. If you purposely wanted to, hurt me, well, that was evil. And if you just did it by mistake, not evil. But it's the exact same action. So an independent observer can't look at the action and decide whether it's evil or not, because they got to know what we were thinking, right? And that's where you get to the court system. They go, wow, did that person premeditate it? Did they plan to kill you, or was it one of those involuntary manslaughter things? They just,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anything that involves mind reading, though, or essentially, trying to get into your head, it's kind of problematic because you don't have a good objective standard. You're like,
but
you see this all the time, right? You're trying to say, well, this is what you must have been meaning, right? What do you think about that? Like, how are we going to solve that?
Well, the first thing is you can lie. Nothing says you can't lie, and when you lie, you can change your wavelength. And so, if you can just go to any wavelength at any time, then there's no way to determine whether or not somebody's trying to tell the truth or not, right? You can be on the same wavelength with somebody intentionally. You guys can share love together on the same wavelength, and it's like, oh my god, why was the love so wonderful? It's like, because you guys were just on the same wavelength when you were having sex, right? But if the person, if like when I go to read somebody's mind earlier, I said, I can always read everybody's mind, because when I say that to them, the first thing they think is, you can't read my mind. And that's all I fucking can read from you, is because that's all you're just trying to prove, that I can't read your mind, right? You're not thinking of, you're like, oh, I'm going to go think of a number. Can you tell what number I'm thinking of? It's like, you're not really thinking of a number. You're giving off the energy of, there's no way you're going to read my mind right now. And so I'm going to fool you. I'm going to go to whatever wavelength I think you're going to have the hardest time sensing, because you're not really going to read my mind right now. And if somebody's trying to lie, whether they murdered somebody or not, it's not a whether or not you can just automatically tell that they can that they murdered somebody or not. It's if they want to tell you, and that's what's weird is we see that. We see that in serial killers. They want to tell you that they're being evil. You know, it's like there's this energy, and what's weird is the fucking cops or detectives or whatever, they pick up on it. They pick up on this weird energy that just shows that it's like I could have stopped. Do you ever see the movie? I think it's just called Numbers. You ever seen the movie Numbers?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
In Numbers, there's a couple kids. They're pretty young, like 20 or 18, I don't know. And they decide that they've watched enough movies that they could go kill somebody and get away with it. And so they literally just go to kill somebody just to get away with it, just to prove a point. And they end up like throwing up on the scene or something like that, and that's ultimately their downfall. But like they had a complete solid alibi. They framed it on this bum dude who like clearly had a motive and stuff like that. Like it was so obvious that they were gonna get away with it, but there was just like this one detective that was like, I just feel like something's off. And I mean that's a movie, obviously, but like there's instances of where that is true in the world where you're like, I just had this inkling, you know, I had this pursuit of that the energy was kind of weird. And I think that energy that we get is sometimes when it's like somebody was they were giving off a color or an energy, they're giving off a wavelength, and that wavelength that they thought they were giving off wasn't quite correct. It seemed weird. Like you said this, you gave off this energy, or you said you were giving off this energy, but you really weren't giving off that energy. And that's where we can detect lies, I think. But some people are so good at it that it doesn't matter. I mean, you've seen the Will Smith and Chris Rock thing. I mean, that shit looks so professionally. Like I thought it was real when I seen it. I was like, this is real. You know?
Did you not think that was real?
Oh, it's definitely not real. It's definitely not. There's no way. First of all, nobody
you thought the Will Smith thing, that whole thing was like a routine?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a stunt to get attention on the stupid thing that nobody watches anymore.
I don't know. It seemed kind of intense because didn't he get kind of suspended from like 5 years for going to that event? It's like he got took some like pretty good damage, you know, reputational damage. Like you wouldn't think he would just do that for just. And then he came back and he apologized, and I mean, it seemed like if it was a stunt, they would have somebody would have fessed up to it, like kind of soon thereafter, because he got like booted out of that event for like a bunch of years. He couldn't go back to the award show and stuff.
I mean, there was punishments. Let's pull it up.
Yeah. He basically Will Smith. Something happened to him. Like I think he got a suspension from the Academy, and he wasn't able to go to the award show for the next 4 or 5 years or something like that. Yeah, if you Google up on that, there was something like that. Like he got suspended from that award show, like he couldn't go, and then I think that was the main. I think that was the main punishment. He may have like lost some movie roles or something, but I think it was basically just that he couldn't. He couldn't go to the award show for 4 or 5 years.
Smith resigned his Academy membership on April 1st, facing potential suspension or expulsion, and was banned from attending AMPAS? What the fuck is that? Events for 10 years.
Yeah, that's the American like movie theater. The people who do like the Academy Awards, you know, give out the awards and stuff, the Oscars, whoever's in charge of that stuff.
Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences.
Yeah, so he got banned for 10 years, and he gave up his membership, which means like the membership basically votes on the best picture, best movie actor, best actress, all that stuff. So by getting kicked out, I think that means he won't be able to win any future awards.
He could have decided that he was done and just like, I mean, he's been in so many things and been an actor for so long. It's like,
No,
how
what I'm
long you
saying
want to
is,
fucking
I'm
act?
saying, I think it seemed like a lot because that's like a big penalty.
Is it
It's like a
though?
little skit thing to make. I don't know. It just seems like
Is it? I mean, you already
they
had
didn't
your
really.
whole run at rapping, music industry, the video industry. You have a whole legacy. Your fucking kids are already acting. It's like, is there really much left to
It just
do?
seems it's like. But I mean, my only argument would be that it seems like if it was a joke, people do skits or
It
stunts
wasn't
or
a
something.
joke. It wasn't a joke.
Like, but what I mean is like if it wasn't really mad when he went up there and slapped the guy, then it's like, okay, he was doing that as a stunt or some other thing. And then you go, okay, so what potential gain did he get from it? Everybody was talking about him, but people were talking about him for his movies before and other stuff. He didn't need to do that for just to get a little bit of.
It wasn't just for him or Chris Rock. Although Chris Rock definitely benefited from it. It wasn't. It was for AMPAS. It was for those stupid award ceremonies.
So you think he did it basically to goose up the ratings?
Yeah.
And the AMPAS people basically secretly worked with him to like, just do something dramatic so that people are going to be watching every year because anything could happen, kind of thing.
Yeah, the same reason that they're firing Joe Biden and Trump might have gotten fake shot. Right? Is because like they need to, hey, the sheep aren't watching anymore. Do something.
Do something, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna goose the ratings. Yeah, I mean, it's like once they go down, we were joking about the Illuminati, and you remember that there was like a magnet or something on Matt Stone's his thing, his refrigerator, and it said the Illuminati do not exist, and then underneath it is like this message brought to you by the Illuminati. And you're like, so that's the number one thing in conspiracy theories is right. You want to make sure everybody thinks that you don't, there's no such thing, and that's just hide in plain sight.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when you think about it, it's like the more people talk about conspiracy theories, I don't know, does it actually help people who are actually doing the conspiracy theory? Because they're like, oh, there's so much to talk about. This stuff can't possibly be true. But that's the perfect time to hide, right?
Yeah. No, I think there's a video that shows that so well. You want to watch it? Are you watching the live stream?
And I'm not watching the live stream, but
there's a video. I want you to watch it. It's called Black Jam. I'm trying to remember. It's at the beginning of the Zeitgeist movie too, or not the Zeitgeist movie, the one with the awareness test. Here we go. Awareness test. Here we go. I'm gonna watch this.
This
watch
is
the
an
live stream.
awareness test.
Are you watching the live stream?
All right, I'll check it out.
It's just the easiest way to share the screen. I could also share it on Discord if you want.
No, it's okay. I'll watch it on the live stream.
All right, I'm playing it.
How many passes does the team in white make?
Go! And then it just becomes like, hey,
The answer is 13.
Did you get 13?
Hold on. It's weird. It's like I'm hearing the audio. You're just sharing audio with me.
Yeah.
I see. Basically, like you're doing some kind of scribbling on a piece of paper, some like a screen.
Yeah. Keep watching. It's got to catch up. Do you hear yourself talking? Hopefully, you hear yourself talking. Because if you don't hear yourself talking, then I fucked up.
And then the thing about it is, man, nature. I think one of the guys on this dating show was talking about how.
Man, you're like super far behind. Did you pause it or something?
right? And all that stuff. Oh, let me catch up something. I backed it up to the beginning.
Oh, okay. You make sure you go all the way to the end.
I'm hearing the audio.
Okay. So do you see 13 on the background there?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. We're gonna rewind the video. You see what the question is?
Well, no, I see a guy who's got like a 13 on his chest.
Yeah. Let the video catch up. It's actually a pretty good test to see how far behind the video is. Tell me when you see the screen change to 8 basketball players.
Yeah, how many passes does the team in white make?
Okay, I'm playing it.
Yeah, how many passes does the team in white
The
make?
answer is 13.
Is this someone where a gorilla walks through the thing and they ask you about a gorilla afterwards? Did you see a gorilla?
You weren't paying attention? How many passes did you count? You weren't counting?
I'm going to say 13.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. So I'm guessing you already seen this
But
before, but
did you see the
you don't have to watch
moonwalking
anymore.
guy?
You can turn off the stream if you want.
I saw this one before, but the one I saw while they're playing the basketball, a guy in a gorilla suit walks through the background.
Yeah. Keep watching. Keep watching the fucking stream. It's not a gorilla. It's a bear, and he does a moonwalk. He literally moonwalks across the floor. It's easy to miss something when you're not looking for it. Okay, so that was the main point, was that, yes, there are clearly...
Yeah. Okay, I did see it, yeah. This guy here, this is a different video than the one I saw where the guy was in the gorilla suit and he walked in the background. That guy was like right in the middle. So yeah, that was a different one.
Yeah, so that's the thing, and it's like, it's obvious that they make ridiculous conspiracy theories to make conspiracy theorists sound stupid.
Now, here's a question for you. Does my voice sound like the way it sounds on this audio when you listen to it?
For sure, yeah.
Because actually, I'm actually kind of pleasantly surprised, because when I'm listening to my voice on this thing, to me, my voice sounds deeper to me on the recording than it sounds in my own ears. In other words, if I had to guess, I would think my voice is less deep than it sounds on this recording. But I don't know if that's because just like that's the way our hearing system, it just works. But you're saying it's pretty accurate. The sound of my voice is what it sounds like on this recording.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell it's going through a mic, and that does have some distortion. But like if you were to hear Jim Carrey's voice on a mic or hear Jim Carrey's voice in a movie, you'd be able to tell the difference. So that you can tell that it has the mic reverberation, the cheap mic reverberation in it.
Oh no, I don't mean that. I mean it's I find right now as I'm speaking, my voice to me sounds higher than it sounds on the
right. No, that's good.
There.
That's good. I think deeper voices are better.
I'm wondering if it's because I might have slightly congested ears, and it's making it not as I had some like ear congestion during the spring. I thought I had allergies for a little bit, but there was a lot of pollen around, so maybe who knows? It's all mysteries. This is pretty cool. So I mean, you I should start doing like live chats. It's so. I mean, well, you're using special software. What are you using to make this thing work?
Nah, it's not special. It's OBS. It's free. I literally just downloaded it while we were talking, and
Wow.
then I pressed the start stream button, and it was like, you need to do this first, and so I clicked yes, let me do that, and then it was like, let me press the start streaming button, and it was like, you need to do this next, and I was like, okay, let me do that, and then I got it. Oh shit, we got 3 views. That's crazy. I think there's also even like a chat. Like I can see the chat window in this. I didn't have to do nothing. I just had to sign into my Google account. Of course, you have to have a YouTube account, and so if you don't have to do that, then that's an extra step, I guess. But yeah, it's free. Anybody can do it. My friend wanted to do game streaming, which is funny. Sarah's dad brought her cousin with her when he came down, and he's kind of not been given enough attention in his life. And so, you know, he has epilepsy too. So on top of that, he's got like, you know, whatever comes with that. And so, he kind of been like a weirdo in the room. And so he said he wanted to be a game streamer. And I'm like, if you're gonna be doing something that any person could do, make sure that you're doing it right and that you're doing it because you want to do it. You want to do the things that you want to do. Don't do the stupid fucking, the gimmicky shit, you know, all right, everybody keep watching, or I'm not going to win the next, come on, put W's in the chat, all that dumb you know, bullshit.
Yeah, I'm looking back through your channel now. I didn't realize that you have so many videos. I mean, you know, you got more stuff on here than I realized.
Yeah, I got.
I thought this was. Is this not the channel where you had your debates with Saul?
I made that on a different. I made that on a different channel because I didn't ever really want to do that, and my brother was like, "Oh yeah, man, I want to do this," and it's like, I don't. My brother is schizophrenic, and I just kind of was like going along to see what we would make of it. I guess, you know, it's like starting a channel is so much work, and I know how much work it takes because I seen my friend Peter Milko do it, and then I seen him do it again with the drawing one. He does Pixel Pete, and you know that one's got 80. Last time I checked, it was like 80,000 subscribers. I haven't checked in a while. Let's see what he's got. YouTube.
You know, Matt was telling me that his whatever he streams of when he's playing video games, he said he's got something like 10,000 views on some of his stuff.
Oh shit, he's almost at 100,000 subscribers. 99.3 thousand subscribers. His featured film has 681,000 views. He did that by himself. That's fucking impressive. And he's technically not a sponsor, but he's got a link code for A-Sprite that he sells or makes money off of. He said it wasn't much. He also still does Panic Pop, which we kind of did a little bit when we first were in high school, and I think we were still in high school when we started Panic Pop, and stuff like that keeps him going. He just released the game on Steam, I think, or he's going to soon. Does stuff like that. What is Matt's? I don't actually know what Matt's thing is. I've never subscribed to it. I'm guessing it's Kazakage.
Yeah, it's hold on.
Kazakage 7th.
He just had a thing
live PS4. Yeah, this is him. Live PS4 broadcast. Streamed 8 years ago. No views. One view. No views. 45 views. I want it that way. Let's watch that.
He just streamed yesterday. Yeah, he just streamed yesterday.
133 views.
Yeah, no, he's definitely.
Can I order it and filter in form of views? Let's see. Upload date. Sort by view count. All right, there we go. View count. I did view count, but I just seen one that had 100 and something, and it didn't put that one first. Did I not just see one that said like 100 and something views? Let me go back. Scroll down a little bit. Maybe it wasn't his. No, this says 133 views, and it's clearly him in the picture. I'm watching it.
Yes.
He might have more than one. I think the one. I mean, well, he told me he had like 10,000.
Okay.
No, I don't think it was 10. Well, maybe he meant views versus subscribers.
Damn.
Baby girl.
I got it on here. I'm scrolling through. It's Kazagagi the seventh. Kazakage 7, then TH.
Yes, it's me.
But actually,
That was
maybe
pretty
he was
weird.
making it.
That was pretty
Yeah,
weird.
when I look at his, according to this, it's 246 subscribers. He's got 1.6K videos.
Yeah, that's a lot of
1.6.
broadcasts.
So he's just basically broadcasting like everything. Every
Mud
time he
Wars,
plays.
David versus random guy. 6 years ago. Yeah, he's been making videos for a long time. So, lots of random shit. Nothing's organized either.
It's kind of hard to tell though, like how many of these are like how many views some of these things are getting. Okay.
No, you can see it when you watch the thing. I just don't understand. I'm
Oh.
telling it to filter by view count, and it's not filtering it by view count, which is really like what the fuck, YouTube.
Okay. His God of War has 2.1K views. Okay, so that was probably his best. I think he might have been
2.1K. Hey, breaking 1,000 views is pretty hard. Sarah got 3,000 followers on Facebook while we've been here. Is that's fucking crazy, isn't it?
How many did she get?
3,000.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Well, what is she? Was she live streaming too?
I should subscribe to Matt. Oh, I am subscribed. Okay, sweet. I don't ever see any of
Wait
his
a second.
notifications though.
Well, what's her channel?
She's on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
But
Can you live stream?
I'm telling her we
you-
should start an OnlyFans. She's over here talking about what job she wants, and I'm like, why don't we start an OnlyFans where you're a mistress? I feel like that would be so fucking popular, especially like with our history and stuff. Like we know how much of that stuff's out there, and like, I feel like we could.
You know, I heard from somebody. I saw a YouTube video that was talking about the dark side of OnlyFans, though, and they basically said that it was like a creator, and they said that OnlyFans constantly is changing the terms of service, right?
Yeah, but
They
all
say
of
if
them
you create content, if you create content on there, they basically like own it like forever, right? Like you can't, like you may stop using it, but they get to still kind of like publish it or something. Like they basically were. And then they said that if you say somebody buys your material, right, or subscribes, and then watches everything for a month, then they call up the credit card company and say, hey, somebody stole my card. Their terms of service are that they have to immediately credit back all of the stuff to you. You don't get to appeal it at all.
But
and so you basically just get
I don't know why you're attacking OnlyFans. Like this, they're the only ones to do that. All of them do that. There's no difference between all of them.
No. Basically, what they're saying is that I guess their policies are very hardcore.
Towards the corporation. All of them are like that. There's not a single streaming service. There's not a single place where you can upload content and be a content creator where they don't fully fuck you. Even the music ones, they can fully fuck you. They have full control, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're the Illuminati.
I'm a little bit naive on all this stuff because I kind of assumed that people went to OnlyFans because it's like a free for all, like it's like everything, it's like super good or something. But this person was basically complaining about it and basically saying that they're super strict on these rules. They got all these other things, and they give you a strike and just kill your channel like no time.
Yeah.
And they were saying like, don't put too many of your eggs in this one basket because if this is your livelihood, you're gonna be screwed in no time. Like
it shouldn't be your livelihood, right? It shouldn't be your livelihood. This should be your hobby or your art.
Right. Yeah. Just like a little extra cash on the side, great. But don't build it up so much, or you build it up, but just know that it can be gone in an instant.
Right.
Because then you're like, it just becomes like a YouTube thing or something, where as soon as you do something they don't like, you're gone.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same argument against ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT wants to argue that what the fuck am I talking about? ChatGPT. Oh, AI is what I meant to say. AI is taking over jobs, right? Everybody's like, oh, these fucking things are taking, and it's like, no, what takes jobs is the lack of in innovation, the lack of creativity, the lack of creation. When you start thinking that you can just do the same thing forever and not put anything into the world and you're just going to take from it, it's going to change at some point.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing about the thing about the idea of like you talk about the size of a computer chip, or how many things you can get on a silicon wafer, how many traces or whatever you get on there. The point is, it gets so small, right? They can't get any more on it, right? They can only make it so small, right?
Mhm.
You're at the super duper small level, and like we can't get any more. It's like it's as small as it can get.
Yeah.
Or it's running up into physical limitations. So the thing is, sure, you can make your smartphone super small, but now you can't read it, right? It's like I can't see it anymore because the screen is too right. So there's like a certain size limit to like the phone. I can't get too small because I can't even hold it, or it becomes not comfortable in my hand. It's too small. I can't hit it. I can't hit the keyboard. So it kind of it can get cooler and more features, but it can't get smaller. Certain things have these natural limitations. So you go, does that concept apply to other things like your microwave oven? I'm just looking. You go, the microwave oven. It does this thing. It's not getting innovated. It can't go much more. Uh, it's going to probably stay in that form for who knows how long, right? Because the keypad is super optimized. It sits there, doesn't break. I've had one for 10 years. It still works fine. There's no place for it to go. How many things become like that over time where there's maybe not that many things that really are on the cutting edge that are constantly getting innovated? Maybe computers and certain electronic devices, but more and more of the things that we use just become in this legacy kind of status where they're just there. The refrigerator is just there. You can put a TV screen in your refrigerator, but you don't really need to. And where do you think it's going? Where do you think that technology is going?
I think that technology has always been driven by pain, and pain has kind of left us recently, significantly compared to what we've been through in the past. And so I think that technology is slowing down also because of that. So I think what you're saying is also true. It's like
Yeah.
the plateau. I feel like if I were to draw it, the logarithmic function that looks like a rainbow. I don't remember what shape it makes, but like it plateaus out at a specific line, whatever this number is. Here it plateaus out at, it doesn't go past it, and that's what happens until the next breakthrough. And we haven't had. I was talking to my friend Peter Milko about the last great invention we had, and he brought up that digital photography was technically a leap. I forgot what the name of the exact leap was, but like a technological leap, whatever the fancy word is. The leap was not that impressive. It's like, yeah, but like digital photography, like that was gonna happen. It's like we got photos and we got digital. We're gonna have digital photos. It's like that wasn't really.
Yeah. You know what's weird is I remember people. I think maybe the term is quantum leap. It's the next quantum leap, but I'm not sure if that actually applies. Because then I saw a thing that talked about when people talk about it's the next quantum leap forward, but quantum it means small, right? Like the quantum doesn't mean big leap. Quantum is it means small. So it's like a weird term that people use to mean like big jump forward, but a quantum is small. So it really means a small leap, but it's actually commonly used to mean a big leap. But yeah, I would agree. I think digital photography was. I don't know. It's like it doesn't feel to me like all this stuff has changed that much. It's like I think you're onto something that we talk about technology moving forward because of pain. You say to yourself, um, I saw this toaster oven where it's like kind of integrated with a computer where you scan, you subscribe to a food service, right? The frozen food comes, it's got a barcode on it. You scan it with this scanner that's built into your toaster. It then automatically knows what that food item is and redoes the settings in the toaster to heat the food properly. So it's like a complete service. But the thing is, what's the pain? It's like I get the frozen thing. I just look at it and says, heat it for 15 minutes. I put the dial at 15 minutes. Is that really a pain point?
Right.
For me, not really. It's kind of like, and that wasn't causing me any problems. I can tell the dial to 15. It doesn't really solve anything, and it just makes it more complicated because now my toaster, my whatever the tabletop toaster, it's kind of like locked in with this food service. Well, now I got to get the special food service because it's all barcoded together and it doesn't work with everything else.
Right.
So it's locking me into an ecosystem that I'm stuck in this ecosystem now. Whereas my regular toaster can do anything. I can use it from anything. I just put it on the and so you go, that's kind of just like a gee whiz thing, right? It's not like better. It's just like, hey, look what I can do. Look what I can do. And so you go, people are like, I don't want to spend more money for just this gee whiz thing. You're going to have to make it so that like the next computer thing is going to have like Google glasses or full on whatever, something amazing that's going to make me want to buy the next thing and not just like slowly wait and when the car breaks then I'll finally upgrade to the next technological leap.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's gonna be a while before we find it because we're not gonna need it. Well,
I think the robot. Next thing, I don't know if I would put money on it, but I think the robot, like having a personal robot in your house, like from Musk or whatever,
I really feel like the problem. I really feel like the problem we're gonna run into with robots is that we're gonna run out of precious metals. It's gonna be gone. We're gonna make robots for all of America, and then we're gonna be out of microchips, and that's gonna be it. That's gonna be how it ends. It's gonna be like, well, what do we do now? The rest of the world can't have robots, like there's gonna be wars over precious metals, and it's gonna get real. We were supposed
to. The thing that most people don't realize about AI and robots, they're two separate things, but for this for what we're talking about, people don't fully appreciate that. They say that to power all those robots and all this AI stuff, the amount of electricity you're going to need, it's going to be like orders of magnitude more than what we have right now.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a problem.
These robots are going to be like doing all kinds of stuff. They're going to be all over an industry. Everybody's going to have a couple in their house. It's going to be like, sure, it starts off as a luxury good for the rich kind of people, and then it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Now, every night you're charging your robot when you go to bed, and you're charging your electric vehicle, or two or three of them. It's just going to be a drain. We're going to need a lot more electricity in the future, and not that far in the future, because I don't see there's a huge demand, or like it seems like we're building a whole much more power plants. And if everybody's charging a couple of EVs plus their electric robot or two, you probably know more than I about this, but you get the server farms, and all the electricity that those server farms take, for Google and what have you. Yeah. They get all this power consumption. That's just running computers. That's like, they're not building anything in there. It's just running computers and just sucking down, massive amounts of energy just to run the computer. So I don't know how that translates into, like, if everybody's got massive computing.
I don't think we're gonna have a problem. The AI already have the answer for how we're going to get the more energy. There's so much energy around us. We don't have to worry about that. There's just so much energy. We have. I was just looking at something about getting energy from the Earth's magnetic. Let's pull that up. The Earth's magnetic electricity.
Oh, I did actually hear about that. I heard about this like a long time ago. There was something about like if you took like a wire, some kind of like a space wire, right, and extended vertically up, right, get it way out there, and as the Earth is moving through space, you're basically generating a magnetic field on this wire that's basically going, it's like a gigantic tether straight up,
Well,
and it was moving through space and generating some electricity off of that somehow.
yeah. I mean that's how electricity works. So if we do have a magnetic field, then we already have electricity. It's built into our planet, and so like we could just tap into that. And the only thing that would be required is that small amount of movement or whatever. It would be so simple. And also sound is something that I was thinking about that we have not tried to tap into. I mean, the vibrations. And I drew something for it back when I was talking to my brother. I don't know a whole lot about science, right? I nuclear reactor technician. I'm able to actually, describe how a reactor works and all that stuff. But I don't know. I'm not like super good, but I like you hand me a multimeter and I understand what's going on when you run the electricity stuff. But like if you had a magnet on, or two magnets on a stick, and then you put two magnets on the other side of the stick, and then you had the other two magnets on a like ring disc around this stick, and the stick was on the same type of thing as a speaker, right? It's like a membrane, a flexible membrane, and when sound hits it, it causes the vibration. And so as the thing vibrates, it's going to move the stick left and right, and those magnets are going to rub up against each other, which is the same thing, the same way a turbine generator works, right? A turbine generator works by you rotate the thing, generally with steam. You're just pushing this wheel in a circle, and the circle has magnets on it, and it hits these windings. And when it hits those windings, it hits it in the opposite way that the other side is hitting it. So it's like, this is positive and this is negative. And then we create our three-phase by doing 120 degrees apart around the circle. So we have three different poles. And so those poles get hit opposite magnets as the thing spins in a circle. But you can create that same exact thing from this magnet stick on a speaker, or I shouldn't call it a speaker, a flexible membrane, right? You put a magnet stick on a flexible membrane, and as it vibrates from sound, which we have natural sound everywhere, all right, waterfalls and crickets chirping, right? Natural sounds everywhere. You just have these little small generations of electricity. The sun gives so much energy, and our solar panels are so stupid. Like, it's gonna be as soon as we get AI on the solar panel problem, they're gonna be like, dude, you guys are stupid. Like, there's so much energy coming from the sun. Good Lord, you could just fucking do this, and it's gonna solve the problem immediately. Well, there's also energy that can come from waves from the ocean. You can like put like these membranes that float up and down against the waves, and it generates electricity. Like, there's so much untapped energy. The reason that we don't do it is because we're controlled by Satan, and Satan wants us to not understand anything and give wealth to its family and keep them in control forever. And so they make sure that you don't know who God is. You don't know how to get out of the cycle. You don't know how to do anything more than we tell you how to do. And if you ever start doing anything more, we're just going to either try to buy you off, kill you off, or make you look like a buffoon on social media. Right? That's it.
Yeah, I have actually heard about the so you get the hydroelectric power, right? But they also got this tidal stuff where they basically put these little things that look like fingers, like kind of like your hand, right in the zone where the waves crash, coming into the shore, and they just kind of move back and forth like you're waving to somebody, and that motion they tie it in to generate power, or out a little deeper, like a buoy that goes up and down with the changing of the tides. See, I always thought, and people keep talking about the was it a Tesla Powerwall, or the thing that you can charge up with your excess solar energy into a battery system? But I've heard before from, I forget where, but it just seemed to me so simple that the idea was you use your excess electric extra solar power. And now you'd have to use this at like a large commercial plant, because the problem with the solar is, right, okay, hey, it's nighttime, what do? So you use during the day the excess solar that you don't need. You use it to power a winch system to move heavy blocks of, say, concrete to the top of like a skyscraper or something like that, right? Move them up to the top of a tower. And then with a gear system at nighttime, you slowly let them come down back to, ground level. And as they're going down, they're turning the turbines or making electricity. And then when the sun comes up again, you'll lift them back up to the top. So you get hundreds of these things that you can slowly release over the course of the night. Therefore, you don't even need any batteries. So he's talking about getting more batteries to store power. You don't need batteries. It's just simple potential energy, right? Just lift them up, big blocks of concrete, have them all at the top of the skyscrapers or anything that's tall, and then they come down during the nighttime, generating power all night. Wouldn't that work?
I mean, capacitors serve that purpose already. We don't need to do potential energy.
But what I mean is, this requires no rare minerals,
Yeah.
or you don't need to make batteries. You don't.
Right.
You basically just need something heavy. Hell, you could just tie up a bunch of those spare tires, like used tires, or just anything that you have that's heavy, to lift it up, and then let it come down later. So you like, it could be a great way of not having to get tied up in. I mean, it's not sexy. It's not sexy like building all these batteries and
It could be
storage capacity.
It could be like an art thing. The dominoes. I mean the marbles. You see the marble machines? Make like
No,
a cool little.
what is that one?
There's marble machines where the marbles get picked up, and then as they fall, they make music.
Oh, nice.
And there's the ones that have like cool tracks, and they change directions and stuff like that. You build something like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I get. It's like one of those ones where, I mean, I'm not knocking it, but the idea of people like, they just give up too quick, right? People are like, oh, we're screwed, and you're like, like you were saying, we haven't even tapped a quarter of the potential solutions, right? People just really haven't got serious about it yet,
Right.
in terms of
Yeah, we don't need it.
generating power or doing some of these more novel things.
Right.
But
yeah,
we will.
I think we are going to run out of precious metals, though. And when we run out of precious metals, we're not going to be concerned about energy anymore. That problem's already going to be solved. And I feel like most health problems are going to be solved because we're going to have a device that's plugged into your body that reads your cholesterol, your sugar, and I think it'll even read things like dopamine, and you'd be able to detect depression, right? It'll be able to tell you all the things that are wrong with you, and I think it'll even have your medicine in there. It'll be like, hey, you should take some of this right now. Your body is missing this. You need vitamin E. You need some. Your triglycerides are going up. You need some fish oil, right? That should be automatic. It should just be part of.
Your government approved AI program will be making decisions about your health for you. Nothing could go wrong, I'm sure.
And no, I definitely.
Oh, here's a good question for you, because I mean, you're like software dude. Do you know? Have we totally like solved that CrowdStrike thing? That whole computer snafu? Is that thing like over? I haven't even been paying attention. Did everybody get squared away on that? Or still...
What's CrowdStrike?
My computer? I mean, huh?
What's CrowdStrike?
So CrowdStrike is like this company that makes a software that basically protects IT infrastructure. It's like a super spyware kind of protection thing. But I guess what happened was over the weekend, like Saturday or Sunday, they did some update and it pushed it out to like all these computers that run like businesses. But the push was screwed up, and it shut down, or it made all these business computers, come up with like the blue wall of death or the blue screen of death or whatever. And all of the planes, the airline they couldn't run, and they had to start canceling all kinds of plane travel, and they couldn't even schedule them because they were using it to like schedule the people and move all the planes around. So I guess it affected mostly like business users. And so I was a little worried about even starting my computer for a couple because I was like, let me just wait till this thing blows over. But then I heard that it was really just business accounts, not personal user accounts. And then I booted up the computer today, but it seemed fine. But I was curious if it had you had any inside track on if you've heard more stuff about it, because they basically came out. I heard on the news that they said this is not a cyber attack. This is not a terrorist event. It's just we did an update essentially, and we messed up everybody's computer with this update. But I guess it shut down a lot of businesses for like 2 or 3 days.
Wow.
And some of them, I heard in the news, like they said, like I think Delta, like one of them was just coming back today. This is Wednesday. I guess this thing happened on Saturday or Sunday. So I mean, I guess some businesses took some pretty heavy hits from it. And so then I think Musk came out and said that Tesla wasn't going to use this CrowdStrike software anymore. It's basically like, don't quote me on this, but it's kind of like it's more than an antivirus. It's like a enterprise level super duper security thing to protect your system from hackers and bad things. I have no idea, but I guess it's really bad. So I guess, and the funny thing is that this was on the heel of there was another system, but this was a cyber hack. This happened like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't even know if it's still going on, but it was the software that powers all the auto dealerships, the Ford dealerships, the Honda dealerships. So I went to my local Honda dealership to get a service. All the computer systems were down, and they had been down for like a week and a half when I went. And they're basically giving me like the receipts like manually. The guy is like typing it up like old school. I was like, oh my God. And they go, yeah, this thing we got, but that was a cyber attack that they encrypted their whole, the company that basically makes the software that all the auto dealerships run on, that they do their invoicing, their sales, like the whole system got like encrypted or whatever, so they couldn't use it. And they were trying to bring it back, but it was taking like, weeks to get it back. And, I don't know, they wanted some kind of ransom or. So it was really amazing that they said it, because I thought it was just my local Honda dealership, but I guess it wasn't just Honda. It was like multiple different types of Honda and Ford and like all these other people. But of course, if you don't go to bring your car in for service that much, you don't even hear about it. I guess it's like one big 60% of all of these auto places use this one software to run everything.
Yeah.
So it seems like they get a little bit more frequent. Basically, you just kind of realize like, anyway, it's like it's not a good sign. I'm not taking it as a good sign. It's probably a good idea to keep some extra cash on hand, because if you go to the ATM or you go to the supermarket and they're like, sorry, we can only take cash, and you're like, uh-oh, I only have a credit card, and they say, well, we can't process credit cards because the system's down, so cash only. And then you go to the ATM and the ATM's down, then you're like, it's good to put that in your preparedness kit.
That's
Or
actually
be aware.
That's actually great advice. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, to have at least a little bit of cushion so that you can go, because they get things sorted out, but it might take a few days.
and have a lot of ammunition, but also I think that's also.
yeah, there you go. Keep your ammo topped up. But I think I'm gonna have to let you go, only because I do have to get up early. I'm running some. It's gonna be a good day, so I get some extra activities, trying to get some outdoor stuff in, plus all this other stuff. But it was good catching up with you. Hopefully. So I won't be able to do it next week, because I'm hanging out with the cousins for the annual cousins hangout. But Matt might be back. I think he'll be back for then, and then we'll start up again. first Wednesday there in August. But yeah, but we'll talk more about that. But no, things are going good for you. Yeah, don't be a stranger. We'll talk more down the road.
All right, brother. Love you.
Okay. Hey, have a good night.
You too.
Okay, take care.